I'm so glad and thankful that you're here. I don't know, you probably have different reasons for being here. Some of you guys may just hit the button because you saw it scroll up on Facebook. If so, welcome. If you are a subscriber, I want to say thank you for subscribing. As always, thank you for watching our videos. We love making videos, and we make videos just for you. We say that in every video because that's what we do. We enjoy making the videos. YouTube's kind of thrown us some curveballs. Ever since I was a verified partner, it seems like within 2 months, YouTube started making these just insane changes to their algorithm and to different things that they do with their content. Some of those things were because of the election. Some of it has to do with some things that were being released that shouldn't have been released to the internet. It kind of makes sense that if gruesome images and things that you would imagine we should kind of protect ourselves against. But then some controversial things have happened for the past year and a half, that have made it to where people who are verified partners, I was a verified partner, have been one really since probably 2 years. And now you have to have like 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers. And I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, but I love the subscribers that I do have. They're interactive, they're personal. We have subscribers from all over the world, and I'm grateful for that. And I don't complain or begrudge YouTube for the lack of subscribers. That's not their fault. If it is, then the system is so messed up that I can't even, I can't compete in that. Nobody can. But I don't think that's the case. I think there is possibly, I don't need these anymore. I think it is possible that sometimes when YouTube cleans up their bots, because bots will come in and give you a false subscriber listing by 20, sometimes 25. I think sometimes they're a little overzealous, and then the notification system just doesn't work, or it overworks. You'll get double notified for something, and you're like, that's crowding up my laptop, and people end up unsubscribing because they're getting false notifications of your videos. So the notification process doesn't work, I don't think. So we've had a lot of issues with YouTube recently. So I'm no longer a verified partner. I get all the perks that I had. I'm grandfathered into some of the perks, but videos are demonetized until you've reached that 4,000 hours of watch time and the 1,000 subscribers. Watch time, we're practically there. That's not an issue at all. What's funny about our particular, and I watch John and Hank Green like everybody else on YouTube. Most people watch John and Hank Green. And though most people won't admit it, or I shouldn't say it that way. A lot of people won't admit it that they watch Philip DeFranco every day. I watch Philip DeFranco every day. If you watch some of these famous YouTubers who know YouTube, who practically built YouTube, they're all going to tell you the same thing as far as what it takes to grow a YouTube channel. And most of the time, what it takes to have a channel and to maintain a YouTube channel is tough. It's not just about how many subs you can get. It's about making good content and knowing how much I've improved over the past 6 months, not to mention the past year. Boy, have I improved over the past 18 months. My goodness. If you go back and watch any of our videos, and I would encourage anyone to do this, I think this would be something that would be fun and educational for anyone. Of how not to start a YouTube channel. Go back and watch some of my first videos. The first, 25 or 30 videos are just cringeworthy. That being said, if you wait until you're ready to start a channel, you will never start a channel. If you wait until you're ready to do anything, I'm ready now, you'll never do anything. Most of the people that I know are the biggest critics. They never do anything. They talk. That's about all they do. And they do that in every aspect of their life. And, you just let that type of information go in one ear and out the other. But then you have a lot of people who mean well and will say, well, if you do this and this will increase your subscribers, not understanding what our particular goal is. And that's not directed towards anybody. That's just something that I think every YouTube creator has faced, friends, family, relatives, whatever. My relatives don't actually do much. They don't say a whole lot about my YouTube channel other than, yeah, it's really cool, Bill. And kind of roll their eyes. But that's okay. But most of the time, people are trying to help. They're trying to be helpful and don't understand exactly what you're up against. So the bottom line is that this platform, the video content platform, is crowded. Everybody wants a channel. Everybody wants to do something. And especially if you're 43. I'm 43 years old. I'm old enough to still drink a soft drink out of a out of a mason jar, and it's not alcohol. It's just Kool-Aid. But most people are young on YouTube, and that's one of the demographics Carol and I are trying to hit is people 35 and older that either can't travel or they do travel and they want to enjoy some of our experiences, and they don't mind getting to know Carolyn and myself. They enjoy that interaction, and that's what we've enjoyed creating. What it has forced me to do is look at other platforms. I know that you can make money on Facebook uh, with your videos or through Twitter. The idea of having a voice and a platform to express your opinions, your ideas, your creativity with the internet, it really is just about limitless. The idea of censorship is coming into play, and I think conservatives have dug themselves into it. And I guess I lean conservative. I don't care to share that, but I'm also compassionate conservative. That's a a term that was coined by GW. Um, the idea of being a compassionate conservative, but conservatives have dug themselves in a hole because we've always been corporate minded and wanting corporations to benefit in the belief that if corporations benefit, we all benefit because they create jobs and so on. But we've gotten ourselves in a situation where corporations now have a lot of control over our voice. And in their desire to create partnerships and alliances with the federal government for leniency and for tax breaks and other things, they execute the will of whatever political party is in power. And a lot of conservatives, like myself, haven't considered that. They haven't considered what we may have created in empowering and supporting without any hesitation a corporate mindset. The bottom line is that the lines between corporate interest and government interest are very blurred right now, and they have been for some time. It doesn't matter what political party's in. That's what's taking place. But it just so happens that we're in a season right now of political turbulence, if you will. And I'm not going to go into that today. I don't like being too political on this channel. I know that one time I said something political, probably about 14. It was right after the election, and I put something on my channel that was supposed to be funny, but I lost like 10 subscribers because it hurt their feelings. What I put on, it bothered them, and I thought, you know what? What I said was kind of mean and hateful. I thought I'm not going to do that anymore. It's just mean and hateful. So I thought I'm not going to be a political pundit on my channel. It's just not worth it. I would rather share how awesome life is than to go down that rabbit hole. But here's the truth. But I want to be positive, but I want to be truthful. And I believe in being positive, being truthful and positive, but you have to be both. You can't be positive to the point that you don't acknowledge what's taking place. And right now, the bottom line is that with the news that's coming out right now, over the past year, it's obvious that certain political voices are being silenced and certain backgrounds and beliefs are being hidden. Certain cultural identifiers, if you're kind of grouped into one category or another, you're hidden from other places. So you might have an audience within your group, within your spectrum of influence, but the algorithm will not let you out of that box. Even if you think you're reaching people, you're just reaching the same people. And that hurts the internet. That hurts the internet. It hurts both sides of the aisle. Right now, it seems to be hurting conservatives more than anyone else. When I say conservatives, that's just an open statement to mean anybody who may not officially agree with what you would call a mainstream narrative. I hate to say that because it makes it sound like I'm some type of alternate news. And the bottom line is I think we're at a point right now where we have to decide where we're going to lend our voice. And with what's taking place right now with YouTube, with Google, Twitter, and Facebook, all these major companies who convinced us that, hey, life is better when we are all interactive, and look how much commerce can be generated. Look how many things can happen. Look at this platform that we have to express our creativity. They convinced us of that, and we bit hook, line, and sinker. I did. I shared this earlier on my original one, so maybe a few of you heard this earlier today when I went live and it crashed on me. So I'll say it again. I started watching YouTube instead of television back when I broke my leg. I fell out about 18 feet from a tree stand, and I had one of the most severe breaks you can imagine. Had to have surgery. It was a 6 months recuperation time, about 3 months of kind of on and off the couch. And so I kind of fell in love with just YouTube videos because I hated television. Television depresses me to this day. And why? Because it is so corporate. It's just yuck. And to see YouTube, and that was in 2012. So we're just looking at like 6 years ago, and to see YouTube kind of fall into that corporate mindset and starting to look like television, it really is. It has an algorithm that pushes you to other content that is more available than television, but it's still turning into what television was. So it's becoming less of the place that I fell in love with and more of something that I hated before I got to YouTube. So I think there's going to come a time where YouTube will just be one channel, kind of like everything else, where there's you have NBC, ABC, CBS, and within that channel you have several programs. And I think YouTube's going to be like that, where you'll just have YouTube will be a place where you learn about content to go elsewhere and see it. And that will make YouTube a very vanilla, kind of bland, boring place. It's not that right now. Right now, YouTube's still very exciting. And that's not to say that I don't love YouTube. I love the opportunity that I have to create a channel. I think one of the things that I've had the hardest time with on YouTube is having to figure out what people like and what people don't like. And then when you're battling the algorithm at the same time, it's very difficult because you're not sure if you're getting an accurate read. But here's one thing I found for sure. Is that when you are trying to figure out what you're enjoying and what you like creating, the better your content is, the more people tend to watch. If you have good content, people watch. And if your content gets boring, people don't watch. I've also noticed some things that are kind of negative. And by the way, if you're if you're able to comment in the live chat stream, I would love to hear it. I don't know if that is open at this point. I'll get to that in just a minute, but I hope it is. But if so, man, say something there in the section. I would greatly appreciate it. But we're just at an odd time right now with YouTube, where if you create something worth watching, people tend to watch it. But what I don't think, or what's negative, is that you'll make some type of thumbnail that might be divisive. And I've done this. I've done an experiment about it. I had one the other day. I said, we need to talk about Cherahalla. Like, oh, it's something so serious. And I guarantee you, just based on the watch times of that video, I guarantee you that most of the people that clicked on that, they didn't click to watch it. They clicked to see if it was something controversial. When they realized it wasn't controversial, they clicked right off. So what does it say? That says that clickbait, which we've known this for a long time, if the clickbait is divisive, if it's hateful, if you think that there's controversy about it, we're more apt to hit the button. We're more apt to go to that channel and see what's going on with that channel, which means you're more likely to subscribe and gain views. That's where this platform is. That's where just about all video content is. And it's very difficult as a creator to watch those things and feel like you're forced into having to do that. I don't know how to deal with that yet. If I was younger, I think I could sell out to it and it wouldn't be a problem. I mean, as a minister, I mean, it's really easy to come up with sermon outlines that are negative and all about, going to hell and who's going to hell and why they should go to hell. I mean, you can definitely pack out an auditorium telling everybody, who's going to hell and who isn't. But that's not the best way to preach. I think any preacher in the world would tell you that. That's a terrible way mentality to go into a ministry. And so much less creating on YouTube. I mean, the idea that people, I see you, Jeremiah. I see you. I think it's just sad that you have to go into it that way. And so it's very hard. And so Jeremiah, he writes here, what's worth fighting for? Cracker Barrel, cutting the barbecue, and the country ham biscuits from the menu. I love it. Jeremiah came to our event this past summer, which I really wanted to do more of those this past year in 2017. Hopefully we'll get to do more in 2018. Who knows what the future holds at this point. We would love to do more. But he came to our solar eclipse event. We had a great time and a lot of fun. But it's really hard to determine what people want to see versus what creates some type of sensationalism. Here's what we have noticed about our YouTube analytics. I like that YouTube provides analytics for YouTube creators, so that when you create a video, you can see how many people are watching, how long they watch. Having spoken with other creators who are a lot bigger than our channel, and had some great conversations there. Our watch time is actually pretty high compared to most channels that have our amount of subscribers. There are a lot of channels that have our subscribers and up to 1,000 or 2 or 3,000 subscribers. Believe it or not, if you're within 500 subscribers to 3,000, you're still looking at a lot of the same demographics there, a lot of the same analytics, statistically. A little bit more money, of course, you're making, but it's funny how you have to have quite a few more jumps past that where there's a significant change. But our watch time is pretty high, and if you look at how many subscribers that we have versus how many clicks that we have versus how much watch time we have, we don't do bad at all in watch time, and that's something I'm proud of. It's something I'm very thankful to God for, is that our watch time is not too shabby. People, when they click on our videos, they watch 5, 7, 10 minutes of our of our videos, and that's great. If you have and especially some of our longer ones, we have videos on there that are 30 minutes long, and people will watch on. And again, these are averages, 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm thankful for that. That's great. I still love this platform. I still love YouTube. They're just disappointing me right now. I don't think we're getting the whole story. I think some of the whole story is coming out right now. I think one of the problems is that it's not just about the videos that you're creating. And I predicted this a little over a year ago, and I was laughed at, pretty much laughed at. But the prediction has come true. The cat's out of the bag. It's not just about the video content that you're creating as a YouTube creator. It's also about the content you're watching. So let's say I'm watching conservative videos or whatever kind of videos that mainstream isn't necessarily promoting or what they want to promote. That can affect my YouTube channel, even though I'm not creating that kind of content. And that's a shame, because I watch all kinds of stuff on YouTube. I watch everything from alien lizard people, conspiracies, because they're entertaining and they're fun. It's like watching better science fiction than what they create now. And I'm going to interrupt and just say this real quick. I think it would be so much better if the science fiction world would take their cues from YouTube. I'm just saying, because some of the best fiction is on YouTube. The idea that this fiction on YouTube is convincing the masses to believe a false narrative or false news is just silly. People go into those videos most of the time with a preconceived notion of reality and whatever their belief structure is. I don't think YouTube videos, I think you get into some confirmation bias with YouTube videos where somebody watches a video and it just confirms what they feel already. They're not really learning anything. Or maybe they watch, and I'll tell you why, because a lot of times people will watch an education video with one of our leading astrophysicists and come up with their own interpretation of what these people are saying and create their own video, their own YouTube video. And I'll watch the YouTube video, and then I'll go back and watch what the astrophysicist was saying, and it's like two different things. And you're going, how did you get that from that video? But it happens all the time. People make their own decisions based on the stuff that they're watching. So the idea that YouTube is somehow shaping YouTube or Facebook or whatever the case is, that it's actually shaping political opinions, that's not true at all. That's not true at all. So the idea that anything that was seen in social media this past time was, and I don't know who interfered with the elections or not. I don't know if Russia interfered or not. I don't think anybody will know for sure ever. I think it's a silly discussion. The reason why is because I don't think it really affected anyone. I don't think it really mattered. I knew who I was voting for way before the election, and most people did. I don't think those videos or those, when I mean videos, if you're on YouTube, there are thousands of videos about Russian collusion or not Russian collusion, or whether Obama's the devil, Hillary's the devil, Trump's the devil. I mean, come on, it's YouTube. So you have thousands and tens of thousands of videos that say all of it. And I watched them all. I did. I watched different ones, man. Some of them saying Trump's the Antichrist, some saying Hillary's the Antichrist. None of those are going to really affect me at all. I make a decision on a completely different level than that. I have an education. I mean, I'm not going to let that bother me. And for the tens of thousands who watch YouTube, to assist them in making a decision, I think that's in the margins. I don't think that's the majority of people. So I don't think that's really why YouTube is making some of the decisions they're making. I don't even think the ad apocalypse of last year, the adpocalypse, I think is what everybody calls it. I don't even really think that was because of what was on YouTube. I think that is mainly a matter of wanting to control the narrative, which is going back to what I was talking about earlier about the corporations and government kind of being a blurred line, a blurry line, and that they're wanting just to control the message and have an official kind of statement and keep certain ideas on the fringe. And when I say certain ideas, I'm not talking about extremes. I think anytime people talk about extreme ideas, they go automatically to UFOs and aliens, which I'm not sure how fringy those are right now, but they're always wanting to talk about the crazy kind of conspiracies, but that's not really what I'm wanting to talk about. It's really just wanting to keep a political message big, and control it, and keep another political message very small and very obscure. And that's the main thing that's taking place right now. What's funny is that it's not across the board. There are certain messages that you would think would scare the death out of corporations. There's certain messages out there that are on YouTube right now that in YouTube it's so saturated across every single narrative. Whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, there are certain messages that are so vibrant and huge, and it's disgusting. One of them is anti-Semitism. It is massive right now on the internet. It's affecting some of my friends. It's affecting so many people, even in the church world. It's affecting people right now. And I'm like, why isn't anyone saying anything about this? It's blatant. And there's an obvious agenda there, and it's gross. See, and that shocks me because just 20 years ago, that would have been unheard of. But now that message is allowed to continue on and on in various forms and very subtle, but it's there and it's blatant. It's very easy to pick up on, and you don't hear a lot of people talking about that. But again, it's hard not for me. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I saw somebody on a comment on a YouTube channel this morning, and they said, "Folks, we need to just go ahead and delete our Facebook, and delete our Twitter right now, and they were bragging because they hadn't been on social media 10 years or something, or 5 years, I don't know. And it was hysterical because I'm thinking, you're on a YouTube platform right now and you're commenting, and it's not like your information and your opinion is any more guarded on YouTube than it would be Facebook, or you're still having to put your information into that system. That system still has access to your computer. It doesn't even make any sense that that's somehow a superior method of social media than the other two. It's silly. I love social media. I don't post the same way I did 5 or 6 years ago. I think we have to mature using social media, and I think a lot of people are. I don't think we should be joined to the hip to it, and I don't think Carolyn or myself, I don't think we are. We use it strictly to put out information. Hey, this is what's going on with us, and to find out what's going on with people that we love, but we don't get to socialize with much. And so that's what I love about it. So I still love YouTube. It's a great way to put up videos. It's a great way to share with extended friends and family what we're doing in a way that kind of is fun for me because I love editing. I'm learning. I mean, I've only been learning this for about 18 months. I got a long way to go, but it's a lot of fun. I'm on Top Buzz now. If you've never heard of Top Buzz is a new video platform, and but now check out how weird this is. Now, you've heard in the news time and time again about our relationship with China, and different people have different opinions about that. We're not going to get into the politics of it, but it is something that everybody is kind of considering, that we have this relationship now with China, and that's grown into, I mean, it's huge. Technologically, it's huge, and there's a huge market in China. So the movie industry obviously wants to be a part of that. The tech industry, we're already always exchanging ideas. Some people would argue that it's not really sharing; it's more like just piracy on their part, on China's part. There's a lot of discussion there between China and the U.S. But China, one of their companies, Toshio, owns through ByteDance, owns Top Buzz. But Top Buzz was one of the most popular apps last year here in America, and it's growing. And so we're going to try it out. But the idea that Top Buzz would somehow be an alternative to YouTube as far as putting your videos up there, that's silly. Top Buzz is not an alternative. Top Buzz is not an alternative to YouTube. It's just another video platform. Top Buzz is just as Top Buzz is every bit as controlled as YouTube, if not more. And they definitely will have a political message to release as well. Now, I love Top Buzz. Don't get me wrong. I love Top Buzz. It's a great platform. But overall, the idea that one's going to censor more than the other one, let any of these companies that have a video platform base, let them get so big and there will be censorship. There will be control of what the narrative is. And so I guess that's my question is what's worth fighting for? And I wanted to make a movie this past summer, and I just couldn't get enough people interested in helping. You know, everybody wants to be a part of it, and everybody wants to be a part of something, but they don't want to pitch in. It's one of those things. And I needed like 25 people to kind of help, and I just couldn't rally troops well enough for that. I wanted to. I wanted to rally a bunch of troops and make this movie about. I won't go into detail, but we'll just say it was about a few friends, a few people few military people from different armies who kind of are trapped together, and they're all running away from their duty. They're all kind of AWOL from their military units, but they're all from different sides. And they've temporarily renounced the reasons why they're fighting for their countries. And it's sort of like a global war, post-apocalyptic kind of situation. And the idea is to start the discussion of what are you willing to sacrifice in your belief system to compromise? And in a lot of ways, and I wanted to start that conversation for my own benefit. It wasn't just for other people. It was to get this kind of hashed out in my own head. What's worth fighting for? You know, what are you willing to say, look, I draw a line in the sand here. This is too far. For some people, we're at that point right now. You know, we're at that point where we're saying, enough of the control, enough of the idea that you get to control the narrative and the political direction that society's turning. And we're willing to die on that hill right now. We're going to die on that hill. But on another way, it's in another avenue, it's kind of hard to say that because what are the consequences there when you're ready to fight for what it is you're believing in and the other person's ready to fight for what they're believing in, what they believe in. But I feel like we're getting closer and closer to this time period that there are going to have to be decisions that are made. And are we past the point that a compromise can be made? And I don't know. I honestly don't know. And I think a lot of it has to do with following the thoughts to their conclusion. Like you just keep seeing what's going to happen over a long amount of time period or a long enough time period. And I can see where two people, just take two people, not counting two corporations or two corporate entities, just take two people, two individuals, and see how far they can push each other until they have to fight. And it gets scary because everybody talks about us and us in North Korea and us in Russia and all this other stuff. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the U.S. versus the U.S., not in a civil war, but just a chaotic breakdown between people that can't get along anymore, that have forgotten how to turn the other cheek, that have forgotten how to compromise, think it's okay to make fun of faith and belief, and forget what this country, how this country was established, which was a compromise really between different ideologies and different belief structures, and we seem to have forgotten how to compromise about anything. And I'm hopeful that since we have solved these dilemmas before on several occasions, that we can do it again. I'm hopeful that since we've been able to fight before between ourselves, that we've been able to surface and we've been able to make it. That being said, I don't know how much longer we can go without having some type of conflict. Just simply for the fact that eventually people will have enough. And of course, I say that, and again, it's easy to talk like this when there's not that many people in the chat. Jeremiah came in there. I'm very, very grateful that he popped in, and there's not that many people watching today. I'm going to try to recut this if I can and just post it as a video. But it's easy to say these things when you don't have anybody saying anything back to you, when it's a one-way conversation. Because I suspect that across every single forum in different political beliefs, somebody's going to fire back with a different opinion. Somebody's going to fire back and say, well, if only this side would do this, we could come to grips with this. But I'll be honest with you, I get exhausted when I do watch YouTube videos of how many people put Christians down without, I don't put atheists down. I'm not negative towards atheists. I'm not negative towards unbelievers who don't believe the same way I do. But man, they will swing at Christians and put Christians down to the point that and they'll take something obscure that has not happened in anybody's. It's like an isolated incident with a sect of Christians, and that's all they'll talk about and lump everybody into this category, and it's just disgusting. I get tired of the of that type of behavior, and if we say anything back towards them, then we're considered intolerant and hateful. That gets old. And I wish I could. There's one YouTube creator, and I'm not going to mention this person's name but he's a huge YouTuber, one of the biggest YouTubers ever. He's very kind to Christians. He's not a Christian, but he's very kind to Christians. He's not ugly. He's not hateful or mean. He's tolerable. And then there's what I call average. They're making money off YouTube. They're making a living off YouTube, but they're always popping some kind of hateful, sarcastic thing about Christians and Christianity. That just aggravates me to no end. It's like I'm gonna go, you don't even know what you're talking about. It really is, of course. And then there are Christians that aggravate me because they throw videos up online from everything from a flat Earth to silliness when it comes to things that are just obvious in science, and they don't conflict with the Bible or anything like that. And you watch these videos and you're just going, oh my goodness, oh, why are you doing this? Why are you saying this? Because they sound silly, and you get aggravated. But and I say this with great humility. One of the things I've learned from being a YouTube creator, one of the biggest things I've learned, is that there are a lot of people out there that are looking for information, but they're more lonely than they are anything else. They're not looking to figure out whether they believe that the earth is flat or if there are UFOs or Bigfoot. That's not really what they're looking for. They're looking to connect with people. And I've noticed that on watching other live streams of how many people join these live streams just to talk to somebody who has a camera, just to be a part of a conversation. And I love that. I think that's great. I think if we use it more for that than to try to get some type of political message out. I listen to some of the conservative YouTubers that I'm thinking all you're doing with what you're talking about right now is sowing more chaos and more anger. But again, I'm picking on conservatives right now because I'm a conservative. The truth is that it definitely goes the other way. I can't watch mainstream YouTube channels without the president being called everything in the world. I've never seen people be more disrespectful to a president of the United States than I have during this time period. It's absolutely sickening. And these are the same people who said that Republicans were treating President Obama disgustingly. By the way, I do not treat President Obama disgustingly. I always talk nice about President Obama. I didn't vote for him, but I thought he was fine. At the end of the day, does the president really do a whole lot? I mean, come on, it's the president. I think this president is disliked a lot because he runs his mouth a lot. I wish he would stay off Twitter. Gosh, I wish he'd stay off Twitter. He'd be a lot better off. But we're just living in a crazy time right now. So we're going to keep putting stuff up on YouTube. But I will say, now more than ever, if I can say anything in this live rant that I'm going on, if I could say anything, it's that now more than ever, we really need subscribers. Subscribers are important, and I hate that. Somebody even mouthed off in one of our comments one time. It was hilarious. I laughed hysterically. I wish I could have left the comment up there, but I couldn't. Stop pushing your channel all the time. Just tell your story. I was like, I can't help it. We have to keep it in front of people that subscribing is the most important thing that we can do to keep our channel going and to grow and to turn this into what we're really going for. So subscribing to our channel on YouTube is important. Liking our video is great. We always appreciate the like. Likes are very important. Very important. Commenting is very important. Subscribing and requesting notifications, it's kind of like where we're at right now in order of priorities. Until we get that established, until we get over 1,000 subscribers, we are so limited. And we never want to ask for money. A lot of channels, they have a Patreon account where you can donate $1. We don't do that. It's just not our growth model. It's not what we want to do. It's not our long-term goals for this channel. We don't want to be viewer supported, even though everyone says that that's the trend on these channels, is for small YouTubers to gather a following by having people support them by Patreon or one of the other ways that you can be supported by viewers giving So kind of subscribing to your channel and solidifying that subscription through their finances. I don't want to do that. I think that puts too much pressure on individuals right now, and it puts too much pressures on the creator, for that matter. I'd much rather grow when we get past 1,000 subscribers. Use what we were going to use and will still use here soon, is use products and some of the services that we offer, that we can offer. Building up brand loyalty is so important, and in order to be able to be successful in this platform. And but I guess my thing is wondering, in as far as the thumbnail is concerned, is if you examine what you believe, if you examine how you feel about life in the universe right now, what are you willing to lay everything down for and go to war for? And let me raise the ante this way and say it even in a more critical mindset. What are you willing to let your kids fight for? What are you willing to lay it all down and say, I don't care if my kids go to war fighting for this? That's the real question. Are you willing to let your kids go to war for some of the things that make you mad about the current president? Are you willing for your kids to die? Or am I willing for my kids to die over some of my beliefs? There are some, yes. There are some that my beliefs are that important. Our constitutional rights are that important. If this is indeed the platform that we have in America now, to communicate, because newspapers are gone. So this is the new normal. And if you want your voice to be heard, this is it. If that's the new normal, then we have to examine access and who has access and the freedom of access and being able to reach all sorts of opinions and being able to express those opinions. We have to examine if everyone has access to as much information to make a decision. Because right now, I think we're entering a time period where there have been active, overwhelming attempts to suppress information. And again, if you're looking at my YouTube channel statistics right now, you're going, Bill, you're a nobody YouTuber. Nobody watches your stuff. Yes, but what's taking place with other YouTubers and with other content, it's affecting me. And so because I'm a conservative or because I'm a Christian, it affects me. So you have to ask yourself, at what point are you willing to say something? Unfortunately, and this is true, a lot of conservatives don't want to say anything right now. They think it's going to be just fine because, hey, Trump's the president or whatever. They realize that they don't have a clue. The fight is really just now beginning. And even Democrats, I'll say this about liberals and Democrats. You don't hear me say negative things, calling liberals something negative. I think we need I'm thankful for liberals. And that's not sarcasm. Somebody's got to keep us balanced. Somebody's got to keep putting other issues that conservatives typically don't think about at the forefront. I wouldn't say that I'm a conservative totally either. I'm somewhere in the middle about things. I don't think I'm an extreme one way or the other. But I think for all of us, we need to be very careful about saying that certain narratives shouldn't reach the public platform and shouldn't be shared. Because right now, if you let's say you're a liberal and you have certain beliefs about abortion or certain beliefs about this, that, or the other, you may want to suppress, conservative thinking, or you may want to keep that at bay because you don't want that message to spread. But if things change and people that are in power, let's say with social media, let's say they change, you don't want to be in a situation where you can't get your message out either. I think for liberals and conservatives, it is so important to be able to express one way or the other wherever, which is why I've changed a lot of my opinions about social media. I'm pretty much let everybody have a say. It's better. I trust what my belief structure to the point that it doesn't bother me or scare me if other people have those different opinions, because I trust, the information that I have. If other people want to express their opinions, that's completely up to them. If they want to say, hey, well, I believe in this or I believe in that, it doesn't bother me. That's fine. I trust what I believe, but I think that they have to have a forum. Where do you draw the line on that? I don't know. Okay. But I think we're drawing it a little too sharp right now. And right as I say that, you'll have 25 videos that'll surface that are horrible, that are disgusting, that shouldn't be on. And it's definitely something that it's our crisis right now, the time period that we're living in. I know that the internet is a marketplace. There has to be some type of freedom to enter the marketplace and be able to provide your opinion without being without feeling like you're going to be bullied and feeling like you're going to be pushed out of that marketplace. And honestly, I don't feel like I'm being forced out of the marketplace. I don't feel like that at all. I mean, there's still several places that we can place our content and get views. Again, Top Buzz, we're doing great. And of course, there's Twitch, and there's other there are other venues that we can place our video content on as well. But for the time being, we're still here at YouTube as well as some other platforms. So we're having to learn to kind of get along and make do with what we have, where we're at. So I'm hopeful for the future, but only if this sort of censorship or being pushed to the fringe isn't long term. Well, it's very difficult to go live and speak for 45 minutes when you're not having a lot of interaction, but I've got to be in the habit of going live, apparently. I will say this before I go, not being a verified partner here in a few weeks, even though we've increased by like 30 subscribers since they implemented this a few weeks ago, is really going to hamper. I don't know what we're allowed to do live and what we're not. I'm allowed to keep most of our perks, and going live is a perk. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. But going live will have to be a part of what we do on this platform. So I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this. I'm Bill Marion, and this is A Dose for Life.